We all tend to think that if you just work hard and have good intentions, you're golden, that it all just works out. But what if that's not the whole story? Today we're going to dig into a really challenging idea from a sacred text that pretty much flips that whole concept on its head. Let's get into it. So it all starts with this really intense question. Shall we inform you of the greatest losers as to their deeds? I mean, wow, that's a heavy way to begin. It sets up this huge mystery right from the get-go. We're not talking about people who failed because they didn't try. No, this is about the greatest losers based on everything they've ever done. So who on earth could that possibly be?
And then you get the answer, and it is a total curveball. It's not the evil people or the lazy ones. The greatest losers are the ones whose entire life's effort is just lost, gone. And here's the most mind-blowing part. They have absolutely no idea. They genuinely think they're crushing.
That phrase right there, that is the absolute core of the tragedy. It's this deep, sincere self-deception. I mean, think about it. These aren't villains who know they're doing wrong. They are completely 100% convinced that their work is amazing and helpful. But from this theological point of view, they've got it completely backward. So this is a massive paradox, right? How can good work done by people who sincerely think they're doing good just be considered lost? It doesn't really add up on the surface. To get it, we've got to dig a little deeper into the ideas behind it. The original Arabic phrase is dhalla sa'yuhum. Now, this doesn't mean something like your business failed or a project didn't work out. No, this is way bigger. It means their entire effort in life is seen as fundamentally off track, misguided, basically invalid. It yields zero reward in the hereafter. We're talking about a total loss on an eternal scale. And this is where you see the huge disconnect. On the surface, what these people are doing looks incredible. We're talking charity, building schools and hospitals, amazing personal achievements. But then there's the divine reality presented in the text, which says all those deeds are actually worthless because they're missing a very specific, crucial foundation. Okay, so what is it that makes all this hard work just go to waste? To figure that out, we need to first look at who these verses were originally talking about, according to the classical interpretations. In its most direct sense, the verse was aimed at those who rejected the core beliefs, belief in God, his revelations, and the day of judgment. But over time, commentators said, hang on, this lesson is bigger than that. It can also apply to anyone whose good deeds are corrupted by messed up beliefs, or even by hypocrisy. That's called riyah, which is when you do good things just for show, to get praise from other people instead of for God. So all of these things, they all point to one single root problem, a reason why even the best efforts can end up being wasted. And it's the fact that there's a proper foundation for their actions that's just missing. So let's define what that foundation is supposed to be. The first piece of that foundation is iman, which means true faith. According to the text, for any of your actions to have real eternal value, they have to be built on this bedrock of a correct, sincere belief in God, in his signs, and in the reality that you're going to meet him in the afterlife. And the second critical piece is about keeping that faith pure. The act that corrupts everything is something called shirk. It means associating partners with God. Basically, giving that ultimate worship or reverence that belongs to God to anyone or anything else. In this framework, shirk is like a poison that completely nullifies even the most amazing-looking good deeds. So the big principle here is pretty powerful. Good intentions are vital. They're super important, but they're not enough by themselves. For any work to be seen as valid and rewarding in the end, it has to be built on that foundation of correct belief, and it has to line up with divine guidance. Now, that sounds like a really serious problem, right? But the text doesn't just leave you hanging. A few verses later, in the very same chapter, it gives a super clear, direct solution. It lays out a path to make sure your efforts are accepted, not wasted. And here it is. This one verse basically gives you the whole formula. It says that anyone who really hopes for a good outcome when they meet their Lord has to do two things. 1, do righteous work, and 2, don't associate anyone else in that worship. So we can break that down into a really simple 3-step formula. Step 1 is correct faith, which is that part about hoping to meet the Lord. Step 2 is righteous action, the good deeds themselves. And step 3 is sincere intention, making sure those deeds are done for God alone. It's the perfect combination of belief, action, and the why behind it all. So, we've gone from this really startling question about being one of the greatest losers all the way to a clear formula for acceptance. And it seems like it all boils down to this critical relationship between our faith, our actions, and where we're looking to find that ultimate meaning. If there's one single thing to take away from all this, it's this. From the perspective of this text, the ultimate meaning of our actions, it doesn't matter how big or well-intentioned they are, comes from the foundation they're built on. And that foundation has to be a sincere and correct belief. And so, this whole explainer really leaves us with a final, powerful question to think about. It challenges us to look beyond the surface of what we do every day and to ask ourselves, honestly, what is the foundation upon which our best efforts are truly built?